Metallica was the first band. They were the first band that shaped everything.
Yeah.
Despite their imperfections, and yes, there is quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, me in 7th grade, yeah, I fucking said it. They're not perfect.
They're not perfect. I don't know, man. Same with Trivium. They're another band that, like, I didn't really ever get into, and I wouldn't have gotten into had it not been for, you and our buddies in middle school that listened to them. Because at that time, the only band that I was really listening to regularly was Nickelback. And I'm not afraid to admit it anymore. Okay? You can bull me all you want.
There are fans. There's fans out there.
There are fans. And I would say Nickelback kind of gets more hate than they deserve because it's popular and fun to make fun of Nickelback, because it really is.
I mean, they could be Imagine Dragons.
They could be Imagine Dragons, who I unironically enjoyed their first album, but that's not about them. This is not about them. It's not about Nickelback. It's about Metallica.
Yeah, Metallica.
Yeah.
Metallica.
So you got into Metallica
in 2008, right when Death Magnetic came out.
Yes, and I remember that time because our buddy Josh Lopez, shout out Josh, there was a day where in the library there was like a study hall after school, and I asked both of you what you were doing after school, and you were just hanging out there. And Death Magnetic had recently come out, and I think Josh had brought the CD to school to show us, and I had never listened to Metallica before, at least not knowingly. I think my dad might have played Metallica, Ride the Lightning or something in the car.
Yeah, I remember seeing my dad had Master of Puppets, and I remember the cover, and it frightened me, so I stayed away from it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Josh, I still remember the goddamn moment. We were sitting on his couch, and he was in the linear notes, the band photo with them in sunglasses looking all edgy.
Yeah.
He was literally introducing me to the band.
Mm.
And so I was like, okay, I'll listen. So I went home and I popped in Master of Puppets. And the rest is history, as they say.
Yeah, so now we're moving on to the next topic. No, I'm kidding. The rest is history. You already know the rest. Yeah, dude. I don't know what album that was for me, honestly. I think because Josh, again, was a super big part of the reason why I started, because we would sleep over at Josh's house, because that was what you did in 5th grade. You just spent the night at your friend's house, and he had this DVD of all of Metallica's music videos from up until a certain point. I think it 2001
from the first one, the one until the Saint Anger stuff.
Yeah, and I remember being pretty meh about all of the music, because I thought it's not for me, it's not my thing. And then I listened to Nothing Else Matters, and that kind of changed everything for me, because I was playing guitar at the time, and I was looking for songs to play, and I didn't really know where to start. And then I found out that metal bands also write songs on acoustic guitar and softer songs, and I thought, wow, This is new. This is something that I didn't expect. And then, just like with Trivium last week, you were with Screaming, if you find one song that kind of does it for you, and then that kind of is your gateway song into the rest of their discography. So
even though
playing acoustic is totally lame and not metal.
Yeah, it's definitely not metal, and I don't think it's super lame, but I also respect Nathan who?
Explosion.
I also respect Nathan Explosion. What a cool name.
But yeah, man, from 2008 to about halfway to 2012.
Yeah.
Every goddamn day, blasting fucking Injustice for All and shit.
Yeah.
Playing the absolute living hell out of Guitar Hero Metallica.
Oh yeah.
I played that game so much. My disc actually got scratches and burns.
That's a good sign though.
I played that game so much that you get you level up in the game by playing. You get money from your set list or whatever, and it pretty much maxes out at 500,000, and that's level 30, and then beyond that it resets like the like you level up every $50, $100.
Right.
So just like the beginning, I actually went past that point and like re-upped, I guess.
Yeah, Prestige or whatever.
Fuck, I play that game so much.
Yeah, Guitar Hero is going to have to be in its own separate episode because there are things that I've learned playing Guitar Hero that like transferred over to playing actual guitar, not in a good way. Like I think I mentally screwed myself on like some technique things because I was so used to playing Guitar Hero instead of actual guitar. But yeah, man, Metallica playing Metallica and like you having the drum set and being able to play guitar and stuff. I remember there were whole summer days where we would just spend all day playing Guitar Hero, and it was sick. It was awesome.
Well, not much has changed, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and that did a lot for me as a Metallica fan. Was getting to play through those songs and memorize those guitar solos because I had to if I wanted to get good and get 5 stars. But yeah, and then that all kind of culminated for both of us getting to see them at Soldier Field a couple years ago because that was huge because that was a band that we had never seen before live, and we got to go see them together, and we were in the pit. We were in the general admission, like standing room only, and that was intense. That was.
It took 9 years to see them.
9 years.
They were here in 2009, so like on the Death Magnetic tour, but I couldn't go see that.
Yeah, because we had homework.
Yeah, they played like a festival maybe sometime after that, but they never did a standalone show.
Yeah.
For 8 years.
And then they came back for Hardwired, I think.
I got into this band, bled the absolute hell out of them, and got out of them before they showed up and played live.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, like I'm always gonna appreciate what Metallica meant for me and what they did for me musically and identity wise. You know, I found a lot to identify with when I would tell people like, yeah, I like Metallica and I listen to Megadeth and Anthrax now, and not so much Slayer because I like Raining Blood, but everything else scares me. But yeah, dude, and then that kind of opened up the gates to the same thing that Trivium did. Like we both liked those bands for different things, but we could come together on the objectively cool parts of that band and those songs and those albums. Because I ended up going in kind of a different direction where my post high school or post middle school kind of musical tastes, I appreciated like heavy stuff, but when it was in conjunction with like softer things. So I ended up falling into like the Midwest emo, like sort of like indie arena where it was like stuff that I could play on guitar if I wanted, but also, you know, there was like a crunchy guitar song every once in a while, or there were like blast beats on a, you know, probably not an indie song, but you know what I mean. Yeah, and then Metallica kind of introduced, I don't know, you to the wider world of metal.
Dude. I mean, for as much shit as Lars gets, I mean, he is the reason I play drums. The sole reason. No one else. It's all him. And you know what? Fuck it. Up until And Justice for All, dude, Shortest Straw to this day is still one of the most fun songs to play. His playing on Justice was incredible.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck who you are.
I would say those first 4 albums.
But even, I mean, the Black Album, like, what you're going to do on there. I mean,
yeah.
You know, there's not much you can do. But, like, yeah, from then on, it just kind of got whatever.
Yeah.
But,
no, those first 4 albums were something special. Because I distinctly remember I would download the CDs. I gotta do it.
What?
CD's nuts. So I would download the CDs to my Xbox, and I would play Gears of War. Yep. A little bit. We're gonna wait a little bit. And I would play Gears of War, and instead of listening to the in-game music, like I would turn down the in-game music and just play from the music player on the 360, I would just listen to all of those first 4 albums, just like all the way through, and it was awesome. It was sick. And then when I found out that my dad had a copy of Ride the Lightning, stole that from him as soon as I could, and I think that became my favorite of the first 4.
Dude, we had this thing called Cliff Day, where me and a couple friends, we would take a stereo, and every February 10th and September 27th, February 10, somewhere around there was Cliff's birthday, and he died on September 27th.
Yeah.
So every one of those 2 days, we'd go out to this like park district, and this like big like thing with like a bunch of picnic tables everywhere.
Oh, like a forest preserve?
Yeah. We turn that shit to max volume and we blast the first 3 albums to like celebrate
Yeah.
Cliff Burton.
Yeah, Cliff.
That's how hard we were
Yeah.
on them.
It took a really long time for any of us to be really like critical of Metallica. I think it was. It's the same thing with like Sonic the Hedgehog games. And I don't know who made this comparison or who on the internet I saw make this comparison, but it was like Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, and Metallica are very similar in that they're really cool and interesting when you're first introduced. Like if Sonic was like your first game franchise / if Metallica was your first metal band, it's like, yeah, they're really cool, but look at all this other stuff. And then you kind of move on from them really quickly, and you're able to look back on them really fondly, even after, you know, their first initial outings were a lot better than, you know, the later things that came along. Yeah, man, I still look back on Metallica, and I'm like, yeah, that was a big moment for me. I hear like Until It Sleeps, or I hear stuff from Load or Reload, and I remember seeing those music videos like at sleepovers at Josh's house, and I remember looking up tabs for those songs, and you know, those were kind of what got my fingers used to like lead lines and stuff like that. So Metallica, we're never gonna forget you, and what you mean to us, because I don't know, man, it's something special. They were something really special, and they still are. But I just have a feeling I'm never gonna see them live again, and then, you know, by the time I want to see them live again, it'll be too late, you know. And they'll be like, yeah, man, we're in our 70s. I don't think I want to do this anymore.
They might go the Iron Maiden route and just like, yeah, we're gonna drop dead on stage.
Yeah.
This shit's never gonna end.
That sucks. That straight up sucks. But hey, man, if you're for the music like that, like in that way, especially metal music, holy shit, like their ears must be terrible. Their hearing must be terrible.